Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a good morning to Atenam Express. I'm your host Aisha Latu. Nanta Abida still pressing all the right buttons on the other side. On this beautiful Monday morning, we're focusing on mental strength this morning with Rod Warner, who's in studio with us, and he's also a facilitator of workshops on resilient leadership. Rob, good morning to you, and thanks so much for being Rod and for being in studio with us.
Pleasure.
It's always great, when we speak about mental strength, because we all think that mentally we're so strong we can achieve anything, but we forget that there's the little things that breaks us down as well. And it's not just things, that's outside of us, but it's the things that's within us that we cannot achieve that breaks us down, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I think mental strength starts off with what is it that gives you the strength, and where does its strength come from? So mental strength, the formal definition would be perseverance and passion for long-term goals. And the long-term goals is exactly what you're talking about. Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? And how am I going to exercise it from away from the very deep things of perhaps spiritual connection or a philosophical connection or a universe or religious connection to practical connections about how does a mom with a new baby get up night after night to that crying youngster with love and compassion, or a dad coming home at the end of the day exhausted from his day's work, and how does he enter the home as a loving father?
So is mental health, or should we say, your mental strength, giving that purpose to life, knowing your purpose in life?
It starts with that. Absolutely, yes. It's more than that, but it starts with that about why am I here? And then extending that into why do I do what I do? Why do the job I have, how can I make that meaningful? And it starts with something deep, but is exercised at very superficial levels. Getting the bread, cooking the meal, cutting the grass, making sure that the house doesn't leak.
Okay, so let's speak about the mental strength, and especially when we're looking at other things that we can that we can concentrate on that can make us strong, even though we might be thinking we're mentally strong, but there's absolutely nothing there yet. Some triggers. What are those?
Sure. Well, if one just finishes with the element of meaning and personal goals, you see, for them, if when you have a car accident or you're robbed, the meaning that one has in life comes to the fore, because why should I persist? Why should I continue where this terrible thing has happened, or I've been betrayed in love, or I've been retrenched? Why should I persist? And so meaning beyond yourself becomes very important. And that's the long-term goals that we've been speaking about. Then moving on to perseverance, which is really sustained effort. Now that's energy management. So what can one do to manage one's energy, to identify those are the things at work that really drain me because I just hate doing them, and these are the things I love at work. How can I do more of them? Or at home, we all have things that aren't particularly meaningful and we're not enthusiastic about them, that drain our energy. And what can we do to focus on and increase the things that boost our energy? So that kind of thing is important. And then if I can go on to the last one, which would be the passion, which would be about motivation. Now that's about your thoughts and your feelings and your attitude. And it was what you were speaking about how can you manage your internal life,
yes,
to make sure that it doesn't sabotage you, where you have this little voice that says, you're stupid, you're dumb, you messed it up once again. And how do you control that?
Rod, isn't it true that we always blame the past for what it is that we are currently experiencing, and we forget that we can be the change ourselves?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's very easy and convenient to blame the past, our parents, our history, our sociology, my brother, my sister. When I blame the past, one of the unfortunate things is I let go of my responsibility and accountability to live the life that I've been meant to live, and to live the life in a way that my creator or just my values say I should live my life. And it's too easy just to blame others. And when you blame others, then you've got a very convenient excuse as to why I couldn't, as to why it wasn't so nice, and then ultimately as to why I lost my temper, why I hit that person, why I said those ugly things. And that becomes very unfortunate.
Now, we always say when you become so angry, you should look into the mirror and ask yourself, is this really you doing all these things or saying all these nasty things, reflect, which is so important as well, especially if you experience something. Do you find that, there are certain things that we know that within ourselves, if you think that you're mentally strong, there are things that you need to ask yourself as well, because there are things that you need to work past, to know that mentally I'm in a different space quite now.
Right. Let me give you a technique that I find very powerful on the workshops that I run. And that's at the end of experiencing a bitter and unfortunate and unhappy incident. There's 3 magic questions which change the focus from blame and how awful it was, away to a different future and to take action to deal with whatever has happened. And the 3 magic questions are, firstly, how do I accept this? How do I make it part of me? And I don't mean this in a passive way. So if there's betrayal or abuse, it's not how do I accept it and roll over. Oh no. It's a matter of it is happening. And if it's happening, I need to do something about it. So a person in a relationship where there's been violence, the person needs to say to themselves, I need to accept that this is the 3rd time there's been violence. And what that means is it's going to happen again, and it is unacceptable. So first question, how do I accept this? Second question is, what do I learn from this? And now in that abuse, awful example, and I apologize for using it, but these days I think it's relevant to talk about these things. What do I learn from this? I learn that if it's happened once, it's going to happen again. I learn that from research in Googling and internet and so on, that this is unacceptable. I learn from my spiritual leaders and my community friends and so on that this is not right. And that really helps me go to the 3rd question then. So the first was, how do I accept this? Second is, what do I learn from this? The third then is, what is the opportunity? Not in a smiley, happy, everything must be nice manner, but rather, what is the opportunity to move forward, to let go, to take action? And the opportunity might be to lay a charge of violence. The opportunity might be to get a restraining order. The opportunity might be to move away. So, although the 3 questions might be phrased in innocuous language, they're actually very powerful in getting people, as you were saying right in the beginning, to take accountability and responsibility and say, let's move forward.
Okay. Just coming back, and we all know that, this is not going to be happening overnight, because this is a process, finding yourself and finding your mental strength as well. So how do one work at that, Rod?
Well, I think the starting point is going to be the issue of, what is my life for? What am I doing with my life? And in particular for others, because that gives huge meaning. And then to live life, attempting, and to live when I say life, your job, your home life and so on, attempting to live that out. And then in terms of the persistence with the energy management, looking deliberately for those things that can boost your energy, both at home and at work, which you enjoy and you love. And then in terms of the passion, the motivation, looking for examples where your thoughts and your feelings are bringing you down, and saying to yourself, hold on, I actually have a complete choice here. My thoughts and feelings are up to me. Events don't cause thoughts and feelings. My interpretation and the meaning I put into those events create my thoughts and feelings. Therefore, they are changeable. And hence those 3 magic questions are really powerful.
Indeed. Rob, you facilitate many workshops. Tell us that. Do you find that it's more the younger person or the older person that would, come to these workshops? Or is there a great spread of people who want to change their lives and, wish to find themselves and their mental strength and to move forward, to become better people, not just, in your home, but also in the business world, as well as, your simple learner in whether it is matric or at high school level?
Mostly it's people who are, say, from about 25 onwards, where they've found out that life can be darn difficult. They found out that life is not the bed of roses that they'd hoped. They found out that perhaps mom and dad have actually these days mollycoddled them to help them whenever there was a problem. Mom or dad went to the school and sorted it out, and there was a problem in the playground. Well, mom went and shouted at some other mom, and mom and dad solved the problem. So that's the one thing where people then find out, oh my word, life is a little bit tougher than I thought. Or they come through life a little hurt and a little damaged, where they haven't had adults that have done that for them, and they've been exposed to some really harsh things and environments, and so when they are now adults, they find that they haven't developed the coping mechanisms that perhaps some of their more fortunate colleagues have. So it's either people who've been protected, or people who are just learning life is tough, or people who haven't had good coping strategies from their parents and from others.
We always speak about our situation where we find ourselves and things like that, and we often blame the past, like we've mentioned earlier on. But it's important, to shed what is on your shoulders and to move forward, because we always find that there's this, people just walking around with all this baggage throughout the years, not knowing how to rid themselves thereof. Is it when you find yourself and your mental strength that you can rid yourself of this baggage that you've been carrying along with you all the years?
It's an excellent question, because I think it's both. To rid yourself of the baggage, you need mental strength.
True.
And you need mental strength to rid yourself of the baggage. So how do you break into that cycle? Well, the answer is, firstly, to do some introspection, and if this is related to faith-based activities, that's fantastic. But to do some introspection as to who am I, why am I here, and what am I doing, and then the important thing is to then take deliberate actions, where from the introspection there's this understanding that it's up to me. If it's going to be, it's up to me, and I will take action and I will change my life. No one else will do it for me, because no one else is actually responsible for my happiness. I am. And once you kind of click with that I am responsible for my happiness, not anyone else, then you have to take responsibility.
I'm quite happy that you mentioned earlier on, you have your young people, 25 and just a bit older coming, so which means they've matriculated, they've studied at university, and now it's the working environment that becomes a bit daunting as well. And they're finding themselves in, my mom probably, and I'm happy that we're having this discussion now, because my parents had advised me to study in this direction. But now that I'm done studying and I'm looking at the work environment, this is not where I wish to find myself. This is not where I should be. This is not where I foresee myself being, and having my entire future ahead of me, to go to an office 9 to 5 each and every day, or to just be somebody who's going to be helping out people, because I've become this doctor, but I don't have the passion, to work with another human being. Saving the lives it's not in my hands. So, this is where what it boils down to as well. And I'm happy at school holidays that we're having this program, as well with you. It's important then, for parents also to allow the children to live their lives, to find out what it is that they want to do in future, finding themselves and not living your life through your children.
Absolutely. And I think one of the hardest things it is for parents is to allow the child to fail, to allow the child to go its own way, at an age-appropriate time
Yes.
and make their own age-appropriate decisions. And that, as a parent, and I know I speak for myself, is the hardest thing. But unless a child has experienced adversity when they're young and learned how to deal with it and cope, how in the world, when they're older, can they experience and get through adversity?
Rob, this is a great workshop. So is there any workshop planned for the future?
Yes, there's one
Please.
coming up in Cape Town on the 4th of August. And if you need to get any details of that, may I give a
Yes,
telephone
please do,
number
sir,
of Kim? It's 082
082
453
453
9393.
9393. That is
Yes.
for Kim.
That's Kim. She's a great person that knows all about the workshop on the
Awesome.
4th.
We're happy to have had you with us in studio. To our listeners, Rod Warner is one of the facilitators of these workshops on resilient leadership. So hoping that you will make contact with Kim at 082 439 393. And you have another number there?
Sorry, did I say the 4th of
The 4th of August.
Yes, that's
It
right.
is the 4th of August.
It is the 4th of August.
Thank you so much. All the success.
Thank you
and
very
a good day
much.
to you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much.
You're welcome.
Goodbye.